Hello, buddy. Welcome back to the Tin Man Squad channel. I'm your host, Jeffrey Tin Man Taylor, and today I'm reacting to some more Mr. Haunted videos for you guys this time. And the first video that I'll be reacting to kick off his channel reactions to is 3 true scary high school stories. So without further ado, I'm going to turn these lights off, move the camera up here for you guys, and let's get this reaction on the road and in the bag, shall we? Okay, here we go.
Just a disclaimer, if you're the type of person who has a weak stomach, this may not be the story for you. If you wish to continue listening to the other stories, then please pause the video and go to the second one. Timestamps will be down in the description below. But if you think you can handle a graphic story, then here we go. Back when I was around the age of 15 years old, my family and I had moved from Ohio to Florida to start our new life.
Okay.
I would be leaving my old life behind and all of the friends that I had made would be gone. I would be moving to another house and going to a different school where I didn't know anyone, and it's honestly a bit scary. I had already completed my freshman year of high school, so I would be starting my sophomore year, aka 10th grade, at a different high school. My first day went surprisingly better than I expected. I made some new friends and I got their phone numbers as well.
Now, I never went through that, changing different schools and meet new people, but a few of my cousins did. At first, it'd be scary, but of course, you might find some people that like who you are and like to hang out with you, which is always good.
So, fast forward a few days later, me and one of my friends that I made, we'll call her Jessica, who was a junior at the time, started FaceTiming me over the phone. Jessica was and still is the most sweetest girl you'd ever come across. She'd hold doors open for people and say hi to everyone, and overall, she was the type of girl who would put a smile on somebody's face to brighten up their day.
Oh, that's sweet.
So, as we were chatting, she'd start telling me about a boy who had been stalking her since 9th grade. His name was Alex. He would always look at people strangely, touch girls inappropriately, and would always try to, quote, defend any guy that comes around one of his so-called girlfriends, according to Jessica.
Okay, right there, that type of description is of somebody that I do not want to be around with. They act like, oh, Mr. Tough Guy, and they think that they can just grab any girl that they like. No, if the girl don't seem like they like you, then move along or you're going to get in trouble. Because if I saw that happen, I would have been going to the teacher and then see if they could report him to the principal.
However, Jessica was his main target. He liked her more than any other girl in the school, and he would always ask Jessica out, which Jessica obviously declined. Alex would apparently get upset over this and give her a very angry look. Needless to say, he seemed like a crazy kid. So a few days go by, and Jessica and I are at lunch eating at the school's courtyard when she received a text from Alex. The text still gives me chills. It read, "Hey Jess, it's Alex. You know, the one you always reject. I'm texting you to let you know of how much of an ass you are, and you don't deserve to be called a human for the way you rejected me. Harm will be coming to you shortly." Jessica then told him to stop or else she would report him. Thankfully, it seemed he had stopped, considering the fact that he didn't text her or call her over the next few days and never showed up to school.
Well, I know that's going to work for a little bit, but it ain't going to last long. I would have gone ahead and showed the principal what you were texting. Let me just hit play and hear what else happens.
One day, I texted Jessica that I couldn't hang out at lunch with her today as I had a meeting with my teacher about an assignment. She said okay, and I went with my teacher. Now, my teacher's room is right beside the cafeteria, and this is the part that I will never forget. As my teacher is explaining what I need to do, I hear screams. Blood-curdling, ear-piercing screams. My teacher and I both look outside to see Jessica on the floor with a huge crowd around her. I ran outside and scrambled through the crowd and went up to her. She was bleeding all over the place with blood spilling out of her chest and onto the concrete floor. It honestly looked like something out of a horror movie. She was losing blood fast, and it didn't take me long to figure out what had happened. Jessica had been stabbed. I don't know how or who did it, but I just knew she had been stabbed.
Oh, heck no. I got a bad feeling that it was that dude, Alex. He sent her a warning text, but he waited for the right time to sneak up on her and stab the crap out of her when nobody was watching. I'll be like, pull up the security cameras. I think it's Alex that did it. Man, that guy is one heartless SOB for stabbing an innocent girl.
Paramedics fortunately came and took Jessica to the hospital and the school went on lockdown. For the next few days, Jessica has been placed in the hospital for the next few weeks. Every weekend, I would visit her to check up on her, but she said everything was doing better. All this time, we still didn't know who the person who did it was, until a few weeks later when I was watching the news. Turns out that Jessica's stalker had did it. Alex. They showed his face on the news, and even though he didn't kill her, he still faced charges and was thrown in jail for 6 years.
There you go. I knew it had to be Alex because who else would have done it? Unless some random guy came in and caused the school to go on lockdown, but nope. But they only give the dude 6 years. Oh my goodness. Because I know if that girl died, he would have got life in prison or the death penalty. Man, I would have given that boy at least 10 to 15 just to see if he'll straighten himself out in prison. If not, his butt will stay there for life. I'm just glad that Jessica here did not get killed. And she can now rest easy that her potential killer and stalker, Alex, is behind bars. But that boy is nothing but a heartless SOB.
I'm so glad I still have Jessica as a friend till this day, and I honestly couldn't ask for anyone better because this incident could have turned out a whole lot worse. This message is to Alex. You're lucky to be alive. I hope you rot in hell, you sick creep.
I agree with that message he just said. He is a sick creep. And if he don't apologize for what he did, he's not only sorry, but he will be rotten in hell. Like he said.
In 2005, I worked as a janitor at a local high school full-time. I lived in a town that was very nice. The people were very polite and amazing, plus I had actually made some friends with a few of my fellow neighbors. I had just moved into this town, so I had to find a job. I tried Shaw's, which is basically a grocery store for those of you who don't know. I tried applying at gas stations, pharmacies, restaurants, and even a clothing store. However, nothing seemed to be working out. Then, a few weeks later, I got a job as a janitor at a high school. They didn't even give me to what was barely an interview, just some questions I was asked. Anyway, I got the job, but the only problem was that I was working the night shift, 6 p.m. to 11 p.m., and I am not a fan of night shifts.
See, I wouldn't mind working as a janitor at a school, but here's the thing. I don't know if I can handle cleaning toilets. Because you never know who made a big crap pile in the toilet, or if somebody was sick, you have to bleach that sucker down. One thing good about it is he got the night shift and you don't have to worry about students either pestering you or making a huge mess for you to clean up during the day. But anyway, let's continue with the story.
I would mop the hallways while listening to my music, and it seemed somewhat relaxing with nobody around. Anyway, fast forward a few weeks later, I'm doing the night shift and doing my usual routine of mopping when I hear what sounds like a door closing shut from the other end of the hall. I figured that it might have been my music, so I continued, but I then got chills when I heard it a second time. I lock all of the classroom doors, so I was wondering as to how it could be possible that I would hear something like that. Now, I knew it was possible that someone was here, but keep in mind, there's only one other janitor that works the night shift, but he works in another building of the high school. Me, thinking that it might have been him, I called out his name, but there was no answer. I then decided to be the brave man and walked down the hall where I heard the noise.
No, don't do it. I got a bad feeling it's not your fellow co-worker. It's probably somebody that broke into the school to steal something. You never know. And plus, if you called out, that dude probably would have either hid somewhere thinking that you were going to walk down there or jump out and start charging towards you. I would never do that. If you think it's your co-worker, make sure you guys have walkie-talkies just so you can like communicate back and forth. You tell them what's going on and be like, no, that's not me. Then you know.
As I'm checking the locks and all the doors, I look behind me and I see an outline of a person walk into the bathroom and turn on the light. It was now confirmed that there was indeed someone here. I walked over to the bathroom and opened the door. The thing was that the light was now off and I couldn't turn them on when I flipped the switch. However, once I was fully in the bathroom, I heard what sounded like the laughter of a child from one of the stalls. I froze and stood there in horror and ran out of the building screaming like a maniac. I called the police and radioed the other janitor, and they all came and police didn't find anybody in the bathroom. Both officers didn't even seem to buy my story given as to how scared I was. Needless to say, I left my shift early and quit my job the next day. No more night shifts for me. I haven't told anyone about this yet, fearing that people would think I'm crazy, but I am most certainly not. I know exactly what I heard that night.
I mean, officers should not even question a person's story, even if it sounds far fetched. They probably just thinking, oh, he's working in the building by himself. He might have heard a creaky noise of the door. But if he said he heard something that sounded like a person walking around, then I would have believed him and checked everything thoroughly to make sure nobody was hiding. But man, that would be scary too. My heart would be jumping like crazy. But I'm just glad that he did not get attacked.
My name is Sophia, and this happened to me when I was in my third year of high school.
Right?
Throughout my high school years, I was always very lonely. I would have barely any friends to talk with, I would be too shy to say hi to people, and I was the type of girl that would sort of be in her own world and mainly just stick to the internet. Anyway, one day, I'm at lunch sitting down by the table by myself, of course, when all of a sudden a boy came up to me and said hi. He introduced himself as Michael, and we both then started chatting. I then found out that Michael was a junior as well, and he started talking about anime, video games, movies, and stuff you'd expect nerds to be interested in. Thankfully, I myself was a so-called nerd, and Michael and I had the both same interests, and he seemed like a cool guy.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if he talks about anime and other stuff, pop culture related in front of me, I'll be listening, even though I probably won't know what show he's talking about. So that'll be somebody I would talk to for sure.
At the end of lunch, he asked me for my phone number, and me, not wanting to be rude, gave it to him. Now, I normally don't give my phone number out to people I had just met, but I somewhat thought it was okay. That night, I was in bed working on a school project for my science class when I got a text message. It said it came from a random number, but I already knew it was probably Michael. Sure enough, I opened the text, and it read, "Hi Sophia, this is Michael. We met at lunch today." Keep in mind that I am not, nor have I ever been a texting person, and whenever I would text somebody back, it would always be in very short text. I texted him back saying, "Hi." He then texted back asking me as to why I gave him such a dry response. I told him that I wasn't really a texty person, so he then called me. I picked up and we had a full on conversation about our interests and stuff like that for about an hour before I said that I would see him tomorrow and that I was going to bed. Weeks went by and we'd be talking and talking. However, he then started becoming weird not only over the phone but in person as well. He would always try to sit next to me as close as possible and always try touching my leg and always hugging me. It was weird as hell, but I didn't have it in me to tell him to stop, fearing that he would get mad.
Hey, I don't care if he gets mad. If he's touching you inappropriately or trying to get close to you and bothering the heck out of you from texting and talking on your phone, I would have already went to the principal. But I got a bad feeling that this guy's going to snap at any minute.
One day, Michael texted me asking if I wanted sex, and at that point, he crossed the line. The next day at school, I sat somewhere where I knew he couldn't find me, which was on the other side of the school for any of those who are curious. Anyway, as days passed, I figured that Michael gave up trying to look for me, so I went back to sitting in my usual spot. However, even when I was in my spot, he never showed up to talk to me, and I would almost always see him around, so I was suspicious. One night, I was on my phone finishing up that science project when I got a text from him. The thing is that it wasn't a text, it was a photo. I was shocked to see the photo he had sent. It was a picture of me on my bed. I soon then realized that his photo had been taken when I was doing my project, which was now. I then soon realized what was happening. I slowly looked to my bedroom window to see Michael looking in.
Okay, that's it. Get your parents up to that room or call the police and get him arrested and trespassed for not only being like a stalker type person. I want to know how in the world he found out where her house is at. Who knows?
I screamed and rushed to my parents' room and woke them up, but Michael was already gone by then and police never came up with anything. If anyone out there is listening to this and feel that a creep is somewhat being to stalk you, I strongly urge you to stay away from them, because you don't know if you're next.
Well, dadgummit, he got away, and the police couldn't find him. Man, if I was the cop, I'd be going to that school, questioning that boy, and if he's lying from what the girl was telling me, I would have booked him right then and took his butt off to jail and see if the school can like suspend him for creeping this girl out. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications for more Mr. Haunted content like this. This has been another successful installment of the Tin Man's Court channel. I'm your host, Jeffrey Tin Man Taylor, and I said that's a wrap, and have a nice day, buddy.